All right, everyone. Welcome to podcast number 48, presented by 5 Pin Universe. I'm your host, Karie Kreutz. We have the usuals once again, Tim and Dexter Wiseman, Adam Weber, and our special guest this week, hailing all the way from Ontario, Mike Herbert. He is in the top 5 of the best over 40, right, Adam Weber?
Yes, sir.
At least I'm recognized for something, right?
Yeah. Even though he's not quite 40 yet.
Not quite. No.
It's a clear advantage.
Yeah, 100%. So Mike, obviously as somebody that has traveled Canada Bowl, even traveled to the States to bowl in the duck pin, even has a title on the duck pin side of things, you were one of the first ones to join the WCBT out west here and become a full-fledged member, and you happened to even make the first show that we had, and you did fairly well in it. How do you feel about how the WCBT has grown out west here, and with all the Ontario and Quebec bowlers even coming out and supporting it as well?
I've been talking nonstop, about the Pro Tour WCBT. Because I went to the KG Open. I did the West tournaments before you guys formed it. I went to the KG near the end of it, the second last year. And I did Collingwood. I did some other stops. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the match play format. I don't like making a cut and having one match and going home. And that's what Ontario was doing at the time, so I really enjoyed coming out. I've hyped it up for a long time, and now it's caught on with anyone who's come out is coming back from Ontario, and you guys are doing a really good job of, promoting it, whether it be Facebook or podcasts like this. And the prize money, just more people, the money gets better. The hospitality is really good. All around, it's good. I mean, I don't look like I'm a guy that's there to socialize. I'm there to bowl, but I do enjoy the people, but the competition.
Yeah, for sure. And if people don't know or haven't seen Mike out on lanes, Mike is a very intense individual when bowling is going on, and I think that's what makes it so intriguing to see that level of commitment and grinding. If you're not playing well, you're one of the guys that is always trying. I've never seen you quit on anything. And we definitely appreciate you coming out and supporting all this stuff and being a large portion of why Ontario bowlers are still coming out to these events.
For sure. It's definitely worthwhile.
You had kind of mentioned something before the podcast started there about the 235 average bowler coming out to these events now, and the cuts being in the 270s, high 260s.
Yeah, it's challenging. The attitude you hope that people would take is, I'm 235. The cuts. Let's be honest. That's almost they would have to have a day to make it, like a really good day, right? The attitude you'd hope people would take is, I'm going to keep on going and I'm going to practice. I'm going to get better to get to that level, right? That's what you're hoping for, and that's what you're seeing a bit. But it is challenging. I can imagine it'd be very challenging to always go to these tournaments, especially if you're flying and not make a cut. So it's a very challenging area to be in with averages. You know, like you could be like an Adam or yourselves. Now it's hard to bowl 4 shifts with numbers we have, which is a good problem to have. But if you have multiple cracks at it, you're going to have one shift that gives you a chance or probably make it. Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think minimizing the shifts is actually going to help improve, I guess, the quality too, right? You're going to have the guys that come out hot and play really good for the first shift and maybe have a second try. As somebody that's 4 shifted it before, I just definitely didn't have my game that weekend. So for me to make the cut, even on the 4th shift, would I really be competition on Sunday? I don't know. I'm not too sure. So I think
the one thing is really... Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say the one thing that's very good about the tour, though, is if you do triple shift it, the prize money is so good that you're playing Sunday. That's why we all go. We go to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you get, what is it, like $400 to $500 back? It's pretty good return, right? It gives you more than one shift, and
yeah.
If you're there Sunday, win a couple of matches, it's not hard to get $1,000.
No. Yep. Exactly. Hopefully cover the flight and the accommodations for the weekend as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that's a good reason as to why consolation's still involved. You know, you are that 235 average bowler, and you have a good day, and you still fall a little bit short. It still gives you one more opportunity to try to make it into there and feel accomplished. You know.
Well, let's be fair. So this is my always main argument for consolation. You have 130 to 160 actual bowlers there. To only take 32 of them, that's a pretty mean cut, right? So for you to give an extra shot to the other 100 players to 130 players, that's pretty... I think it gives a lot of people the extra shot at it, and they feel good about themselves if they make it out of consolation and make Sunday, right?
Yeah.
20% chance.
Let's be honest. To make that consolation, you have to shoot 1,000 triple. Like, you got to play. It's got to be your 3 game. Like, it's incredible the amount of people that are in it that are obviously still good shooters, right?
Yeah. There's a reason, like, even in 10-pin, they have PTQs and stuff like that. They have these little tournaments to get to the Sunday match play or whatever, so that it includes more people instead of the same 24 players or the same 32 players, right?
Do you think, with the numbers growing as they are around the tour, do you see a format like that being kind of implemented, where all of a sudden now you take the next 4 guys, the next 6 guys type thing, maybe make it a 36 person event or 40 person event, something like that?
Because you keep on getting the numbers, like what Regina is looking like, it's going to be 260, 250.
Yeah, looks like they're going to max out.
Like, has anyone ever sat down and looked at what the prize money would be like with 48, top 16 get a buy? Like, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it's definitely an option.
We did during TPC. We did, and obviously we weren't going to do it this year, but we talked about it. Mm-hmm. I think it'll. If you're not going to be paying out $500 for cut money, that's for sure. You're going to be paying out less, right? Because you got to spread an extra 16 people in there, right?
Yeah.
Plus match wins. So, I personally, not speaking on behalf of the tournament, I like the 32 cut. I get why KG went that way when it was big, but I think consolation's kind of like a middle ground in a way. Sometimes people want that money, so you're not going to be enticing people to play 2 shifts or 3 shifts or 4 with less money in the pool.
Yeah, I think if the tour continuously gets these numbers, though, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't expand the field a little bit. You're maybe lose a little bit of cut money for the people that qualify 40th or whatever, but your top 16 are probably still going to get good money. You just spread it a little bit thinner, but what if you start getting 300 entries? Like, you can cover that bottom line number that you're looking at, right? So...
Yeah,
the danger is. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Mike. I think the other discussion we had was the length of day, right? Because now all of a sudden you have another, with Weber being in there, another 3 hours, right? So,
come on.
Like, if you have Lenny and I play, if we both make it, we'll help you out. or as long as Mitch Davies doesn't have another hamburger during my match, we'll be all right.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, but Adam, you think about it though, at least 2 hours, because you're going to play an hour on one side, and then you go to the B side, another match over there, and each of those matches usually about an hour. So
I think you'd almost the first match or whatever the format is, I think you got to cut the field by 16 after one match.
Yeah,
I think you'd have to, and then run the 32, right? So that at that point, you're adding maybe hour and a half, something like that max. Which I think is doable,
but you still run an A. Well, depending on the tournament, an A side, B side, you're looking at least an hour a match, at least 2 hours.
Oh no, I'm thinking you give the top 16 a first round bye, and then you play one match, and then you take the 32s at that point. Right. I don't know.
No, you're right.
These are good problems to have if we keep on having these numbers. It's definitely a good problem to have.
Yeah. One other thing, you can always you can just adjust your entry fee to say 2.25. Right now, all of a sudden there's another $5,000 in type thing, and I don't think it's unjustified for people to spend an extra $20 or $25 a shift for that reason. But I don't know. There's options there, I think.
Yeah, I think there's definitely there's going to be growing pains once these events are established at 200 entries. If you start getting that 260 every year, like you're just going to expand your event, right? You're going to add the Thursday shift, maybe even 2 Thursday shifts. Like it's going to go through growing pains, but I don't see a downside. The only downside is if, like, I hate to say it, and I'm not sure if this is true story or not, but the fall of the KG and had a lot to do with KG closing down, obviously, but there was a lot of stuff going on and money was being withheld, and if you have some shady stuff start going on, that's what kills the tournaments. It isn't because they added it to a 48 cut. That didn't kill the tournament. There was other stuff going on, right?
Mm-hmm. The Rose Bowl.
I don't know all the ins and outs about the KG, obviously, but any tournament, you guys are very, if you want to see a balance, a rundown, you can see it, you know where all the money goes, and it's not one person running it, it's a committee, right?
Yeah, exactly. You go to any one of the host committees, you can exactly see what the payouts are, what came in, what the sponsorship money is, what they're paying for. Like, it's very straightforward. There's no stuff hiding anywhere. So, that's the whole idea behind this whole tour thing, is to be like a glass house. You wanna look in, you're free and willing to. So
I've been around, obviously, to a lot of tournaments locally here in the area. Like, I grew up in Ottawa. I live in Oshawa, so I was in a lot of tournaments growing up in Quebec, and there's a lot of big tournaments you guys never even heard of. I'm the best person at winning a tournament that cancels it next year. I'm really good at that. Whenever I win, they don't have it next year. So I can give you a few tournaments I've won that you'd scratch your heads and never heard of it, but it was actually good money.
right.
But then they cancel it.
Mike,
So
you're never allowed to.
Mitch.
Yeah. Please do not come back to TPC and win.
No, I have to make a cut first.
We are adding shifts every year.
Yeah, it's good to know. But some of the tournaments, like, I've seen some good ones come and go, and one of the problems with a lot of tournaments, what would happen is they'd have a prize list based on 100 people, right? So then if they got 110, they wouldn't add, and if they got 96, that's fine. If they got 96, they would take away 1 year, which is fine. You don't make the 100, but in the following year they get an extra 6 entries and don't put it in, right? That's what caused. I'm not speaking for KG, but other tournaments I've seen go. That's kind of where the starting problem was.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay that if you don't reach your prize list, your projections that you take away, but then you can't say, "Oh, I got an extra 10 entries at $100. I'm not adding to it." It's got to work both ways.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're straightforward and you show what's happening, what you're doing, and the bowlers agree with it because they're the ones putting in the money, then you should have no problems, right? It's when you're not telling the bowlers, you're not putting it out there what exactly is going on, then the bowlers kind of get shy of it and then they don't show up again, right?
Like I played a tournament 1 year, and it was in Espanola, which it's near Sudbury. Dave Secord used to run it. Still free fall center. I was fortunate enough to win that tournament, but it was he had a lot of sponsorship. He only get 50 or 60 guys, and it was $3,000 for first with a $100 entry fee.
Wow.
It was insane. It was just, there was great money, but the one year there was bad weather and a few things happened, but he did it the right way. He pulled us all in the room and we voted on a solution, right? Yeah. That's what you got to do. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess to get back to your original question on the 235 average bowlers, it does seem that at every one of these events, there's usually 2 or 3 of those kind of call them kind of fringe players, 230 to 250 really. That always seem to make the cut, and then usually one of those guys kind of gets to the 16s or the 8th straight. It just proves that at any time that any of these guys can get hot, especially at a house like Golden Mile. It's you find a line there, you could run 23, 24 relatively easy, it seems, right? So
the thing is with bowling too, though, like it was a good point, but with 235 average is a big variance. That's a big word, because where do you bowl, right? Maybe you bowl somewhere that's a little tougher, and like you say, you get a few black base corners to fall in the right time,
Yep.
you can definitely get going.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you guys take a look at the Ontario Master scores this year, like 237 is going to make nationals right now. Playing a couple of really tough centers,
Wow.
Yeah, it's a numbers game too. Like there's not as many bowlers, but it's definitely, I just shot a 1790 in game pins for nationals.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. It was a tougher center, and it's just, if I bowled there, I'm sure my league average would be 230, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Just even like the Alberta Masters here, if we would have played all our tournaments in Central, 250 would be making national team, not 290.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
290. No,
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it last year in Alberta?
280.
Yeah.
280. You guys do the 2 drops or 1 drop?
2.
Yeah, 2 to 6.
Wow. So you really want to have good days when you hit a nice center, like a good falling center. You don't want to be shooting your 280 to 300.
Yeah. If you have a 21 at Bonnie Doon, your 500 sticks out. That's not good.
Well, and that's the thing too, though, is because that just creates a completely different kind of pressure. You're going into these centers and you know that this is the day you need to shoot, because if you don't, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Well, here locally, Elmira, the scores, the cut wasn't as high as I expected, but it was still high. It was 2160. I was 2250 after Thursday. I was going to re-bowl, and then Saturday morning I noticed there was only 40 some bowlers instead of, it was a little less numbers on the last day, or I was going back.
Okay.
If they would have been full on Saturday, it would have been 22, 25. I probably would have been good, but it was over 22 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good tempo.
Jeff does a good job at Elmira Dune.
He does.
No, I have my Redoon. Yeah, no, I haven't had much. I play there once a year, but definitely, definitely the scores are definitely there.
Cool. All right, Mike. We'll just jump into the special guest questions at this point, and we'll have more topics after. Who was your bowling mentor growing up?
Growing up, I bowled in a 4-lane bowling alley. So where I bowled in Empire, the owner of the bowling alley, a lot of people might not know her, but Brenda Butterick. She was the owner, but she was 240 average. She would have me involved in a lot of tournaments. I was able to meet the Menards pretty young. Bernie Menard and his 2 brothers, like they would have been big shooters when I was younger. Bernie used to bring me up to some tournaments younger. So I would say I got involved young. My dad got me involved in everything, so it was just the good bowlers of the area. So at that time, Steph LaPonce was the shooter in the area.
Okay.
So he was one of the guys I would look up to,
Yep.
For our area. But, I met probably about 14, 15 through tournaments. I met Greg Pederitis. He actually spent quite a bit of time working with my game and stuff. He gave up a lot of his time, actually, to help me practice. So he would be the best bowler I had interaction with that gave time to me to actually get better. So
It's a good mentor.
yeah, he can still play too. He just doesn't play. He still bowls. He just doesn't bowl tournaments. So
He probably bowls more than anybody else here does. He just doesn't bowl in tournaments.
You know what? If you're a proprietor, you know what? I'm sure he makes deals and stuff, but no one bowls more than he does. Like, I mean, if I came into your bowling center and I said, hey, when I'm not busy, would you give me $20 an hour to bowl? And I came there 2 hours a day, I'm probably your best customer in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he really opened my. He's the one that told me about Art West, and with the support of my dad. So if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't have played anything. He sent me everywhere as a kid. So
Awesome. Do you have a favorite tournament?
anything Art West is a favorite tournament. For me, so like if I was to pick any of the Art West stops, they're all great. My personal favorite is Red Deer.
Yeah.
Just a format thing. Like even though the 32s at Regina and CPC, it's great, but you can go 9-9 and go home. You cannot control what your opponent shoots.
Yeah.
If you bowl well, you should get rewarded, but it doesn't mean you're going to win your matches. Like in Red Deer, if you just stay steady. Even if I lost 4 matches, if I average 275, 280, I'm making it out of my group.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, very true. Do you have a toughest match or most memorable match?
I played a guy in Timmins. A lot of people don't know him. He was Pat Riom. He played quite a few Northern Ontario tournaments. I was, I don't know, 17, 18. I shot a 700 double and lost. You know, that was a good one.
Yeah.
But memorable. I try not to look at one match. I try to match play. To me is I get frustrated at myself. I'm never mad at anybody else, but I get mad at myself. And if I make it to the match play and lose in the match play, you know what? That's fine. I shake the person's hand. That's what you should do. But my goal is done. My goal is just to make match play. If once you're in the match play, anything can happen.
Yeah, as long as you put your best effort forward, then there's not much more you can do, right?
Yeah, like I've a lot of the tournaments in Ontario were 1-game matches. So like you're bowling in a tournament where you're paid $100 to enter. First place is $4,000, and if you lose one match, you're done, right? So I've had a couple of tournaments where I went out and shot a 350 the first game and lost, and you beat everybody else, and you're going home with $100. It's just the way the tournaments work.
Yeah.
So it really put a lot of pressure on that one game.
No, for sure. I know Club Tour runs on the same weekend, which is kind of unfortunate for both tournaments, I think. But the Autumn Open is something I think you would really enjoy, playing 15 separate matches, and you can make up ground at any point and stuff like that. It's a unique tournament. It's one of the favorites out here for sure.
Well, pinfall is very important, right? It's not all about winning your match. Like 50 points is huge, but I mean, you could be ahead by 300 and I can shoot a 400 and win. You can shoot a 170 and lose, and I've caught you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna get
huge swings.
Mm-hmm.
So what's in your arsenal, Mike?
You know what? I have a bunch of stuff at home, but now I have a set of Comets, the original ones though, not the new remake ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very hard ball. I use them primarily for duck pin. I have the older Starlines, like the gold Starlines, and a set of Pro Lines. That's pretty much what I carry, those 3 sets.
Right. Cool. So those Comets, they're like the ABC Comets, I think they were originally, right?
They're not the new ones that Epco came out with, but yeah, the older ones.
Right. Any special bowling shoes you use, or you just use bowling?
No, I need a new pair pretty bad. But generic. I think I have SST 6s. I think I need new ones.
So you're still fairly young. You're not in your 40s, as Adam would like to
believe.
No. But what's on your
I'm
bucket list?
You know what? My bucket list. Been around a long time. Like people, like in fairness, people do think I'm older because I've played every cash tournament since I've been 14.
Right.
Like I actually, when I was 18 or 19, I made the 4-step singles. I was out practicing, and one of the guys came over and said, "Why are you practicing? You're a coach." I'm like, "No, I'm a kid. I'm like 18, right? Because I was big for my age, right?"
Yeah.
He's like, "You played my tournament for the last 7 years." I'm like, "Yeah, I played at 11." He was just a guy. He was a guy that ran a big cash tournament, and I was playing since 11 years old, right? Like,
that's awesome.
So yeah. Well, my dad was really, he didn't believe in it. Like, he was really strict. Like I would average 260 at 11 years old in a tournament. He was like, "Well, it's okay, but if you want to get better, you got to do better than that." That's just how he was. And fortunately, before he passed, he saw me bowl my 450, and when I came off the lane, he said he hit the last one on the wrong side of the headpin. I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Yeah, but so what I'd like to accomplish, I'd like to be a little more consistent. I've given a lot of big tournaments a good run. Like I've been second, third.
Yeah.
I like to win the Western Tour stop. No specific one, just any of them.
You've been
Finally made a couple of nationals. I would like to get a gold medal at nationals. I don't care which one. That's my goals. Those are my 2 major goals.
Perfect. Adam, you have a question for the guest topics, right?
Yeah, I got 2 that I want to kind of add to this thing kind of going forward. But if you had a particular challenge match against anybody, any era, any money, any head-to-head match, who and why?
Current players or any era?
Any era.
Stumped.
No, you know what? I'll give you. Can I give? How many am I allowed giving? 2?
Sure.
Whatever you want, my friend.
Go. The 3 players I'd pick. One, just because I was never able to see him. I've seen him bowl a lot, and he was still good, but I never got to see Fraser Hamley. Like, if I was over 40 maybe, or really old like you guys think I am, maybe I would have. No, but I would like to have seen Fraser years ago. The reason, and I would want to bowl him because you only get better if you play the best.
Yeah.
So that's why I would have liked that would be a challenge match, just because you can't get better unless you play against the best. If I was playing in free fall, I'd want to play against Greg Pederitis, because in double diamond free fall, I don't know many people that probably could have beat him, so that would be a big challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
He was very good especially on double diamond free fall. Currently, Mitch Davies. Why not? It's just fun if I got a chance to beat him, right? Like, he's good. He is a player, but I know I can give it a run.
Well, maybe this year at Regina, maybe you get a rematch against them.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like we talked about. I don't know who I had this conversation with. They were joking around about. I guess you could do an idea where the B side wouldn't be random draw. You'd actually get to challenge who you're bowling.
Mm-hmm. That's TPC. That's what I want. I want it so bad.
Like, I would do the unconventional thing. Like, if I was playing that tournament and I made it, I wouldn't pick who you think the easiest match was. I would think who's going to be the champion. Like, if Adam's having a day and just shot 25-50 or 26-50, whatever he decided to shoot, I'd want to bowl in the first match. You're gonna have to beat him at some point if you want to win the tournament. Why not do it the first round, right?
Try and get him out early.
Do it right away.
No, but you can't be scared of good bowlers. Like, I mean, I know, and that's, if everybody had that attitude, like I go because I know I can compete, but I want to play against the best in the country. I'm not going to get that playing any other. I'm not knocking any other association, but if you win an out west stop, who isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like,
I don't know. I like money. I like money, right? If I'm guaranteed $150 for the first match win, I want to choose Dexter over Adam any day, right? So it's just kind of how it goes.
Have you ever beat Dexter at a tournament?
Yeah, I don't think that's a great
exactly.
choice.
Yeah, I have.
A one-game match at the Autumn Open?
and Red Deer, but I mean that's here nor there. That's here nor there. That match wasn't worth $150. I can tell you that right now. I'll tell you what.
It's funny you say that, Mike, too, because we used to actually say that with Gino a lot, especially when he was going really, really good there for quite a few years. Is you'd want to get him that first match, because once he starts getting deeper and deeper and he's figured his game out, he's nearly unstoppable, right? So,
no, for sure. I mean, it's definitely good. It's a way to challenge yourself. Like that, if I didn't challenge myself, I would. Like I can't just go bowl league. Like I have to have competition. Like me, just go bowling for fun. I'll be honest with you, I don't enjoy it. I want tournaments.
I'm there right now, so I feel you.
You need league.
Apparently, I might need league. And my last one, what's kind of either like an obscure or a personal achievement or a stat that the general bowling world might not know about you?
Well, people know I get upset, so that's no big deal. I don't have to talk about that.
What?
I've never seen you throw your shoes away. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's later in the show, Mike.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. No, I've had in my opinion, I'm a field bowler, so I can get hot. I haven't, I had a really great set at Nebs that I'll never do again. It'll never happen, million years. I had a 12-game set that was like 39-60 or something like that. And that'll never happen. And that was the year that all 12 of those games counted for POA nationals.
Oh, wow.
So I was in first in PO. I shot plus 1100 in Prince over average in 12 games.
Holy crap!
And what happened is for the year end, I had to choose bowling POA or scratch before I bowled the year end, and I was on the scratch team by 50, and I was guaranteed even if I kicked the ball down the lane to go to POA nationals because I had plus 1100. Didn't matter what I did, I was going to Newfoundland, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. The first question I asked, what would I have to use for an average? For the 18 games for pins over average that year, because I got to use those 12 plus another 6, I was averaging 325. So even with that, my league average, the way they calculated for nationals, I was 291. I'm like, well, good luck.
Why bother?
I couldn't do that to the team. And to be honest, I couldn't bowl POA, and I'm not knocking POA, but I couldn't make more. I wouldn't be able to do it. I just couldn't make it through the tournament, right? It wasn't for me. No, I wouldn't do that to the team because I'm only hurting a team, right?
Yeah, fair.
Then I bowled $150 and $140 my first 2 games of the scratch side, and that was fun.
Yeah. Mike, you do love POA. You tell me that all the time.
Mm-hmm. I love it for it has a purpose in the game. It does. Like if you look at Masters, there's more POA bowlers. Like in Ontario, I can get exact numbers, but I'm going to say we have 300 or 350 POA members, right? So if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have them. It's definitely a bigger part of the game. It's meant. I'd like to see people not want to stay POA that have talent. They should try to get better. That's all. That's where I get a little. It has a purpose, but the whole idea is if you bowl a lot, you get better, and you want to get to for the people that want to get to the elite level, they can't keep on playing POA. I had a conversation with my ex-wife Christina actually just tonight about this. When I first met her, she was 230 average, and she told me I'm a provincial champion, and I said, "Oh, good for you. Where did you win?" She's like, "I won the Midwinter Blues Scratch Ladies." I said, "Who did you beat?" She got really mad at me, but I motivated her to go try these new tournaments. Club tours and all the stuff. And you know what? She won a club tour. She won Ontario singles. She wouldn't have achieved that if she would have stayed just bowling POA.
Yep. Just that extra push.
Maybe the way I did it wasn't, I don't know how to say it nicely. So
Yeah.
but me saying who did you beat probably wasn't the nicest way to say it. I was just trying to say that you bowled really well, but you weren't playing against the best. That's kind of where I was going. And she's actually coming out to Regina, so, good for her. Hopefully she does well.
Yeah, no, exactly. So since you bring up Regina, we might as well talk about the next couple weekends. So you're headed out to the Timmins Invitational out in, obviously, Timmins?
Yeah, we head out there, bowling doubles Friday night, and then hopefully 1 shift, but possibly 2 shifts on Saturday, and match plays on Sunday.
I know we asked Al Paquette this before, but how many lanes are at the Timmins?
20, I believe. Is it 20 or 20? I think it's 20.
Right.
It's a fair-sized center for, Timmins is not a really big community, but it's the only bowling alley there, right? So.
Yeah. And they always have a great turnout. They're always running weekenders and stuff like that to
Oh,
help
yeah.
boost the numbers.
You know what? Al does a terrific job with that. I was going again since 14 to that one. And there was run by different people, and it was still a good tournament. And then I went up probably for 15 years straight, and I took 3 or 4 years off. And then when I went back, Al took it over. So
yeah.
He's done it went from a 5-game tournament. It used to be 5 games, bowl, and then top half make a cut, and you bowl 5 more games to get to the 24 spot. And now Al has it more aligned to what Out West does. It was always a great tournament, but I do like the changes Al's done, and he's really good. He had a local TV station there. As you know, he's always on there for weekenders, so he's really done a good job with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a phenomenal tournament from what we see out west here. Unfortunately, none of us have gotten an opportunity to go out there yet, being the weekend before Regina and all that good stuff. But.
Yeah, you look when I lived in Ottawa, whether you're Ottawa or Toronto, you're looking at about a 7-hour drive. Thunder Bay, you're looking, 7 or 8. So it's not exactly close. Like Sudbury is 3 hours. It's not exactly. It's amazing. It's not the most convenient location, and people the numbers he gets are incredible.
Yeah, huge.
They have
support
an airport
system
there, but it's not. Yeah.
It's a testament to the house, the scoring, obviously the people running the tournament, right? It's always a testament when you're getting kind of a regional type tournament to major success. Good on Al and the organizing committee and obviously all the bowlers for supporting.
The owner's very nice. She's involved. Like Nat is a very nice person. She's always awesome. An involved owner. Yeah, like she's always talking to bowlers. She bowls the tournament herself too. So
awesome. And not to move on too quick from it, but the Regina Classic, the third stop on the WCB Tour season, is the weekend after that. Event starting Thursday. They're reporting that they're going to be full. All their shifts are full with re-entries, but seems like it's going to be quite the turnout. They have 160 individuals signed up or something like that.
So you know they're north of 225 for sure, no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. They should be north of 250, really.
Yeah, and just factoring in if a lot of us have two shifts. Maybe we might get lucky and shoot a big set, but we all know the cut's not going to be 2150. It's going to be a cut. It's going to be high with that amount of bowlers. It's going to be high.
Yeah. I kind of go by the. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially those guys shooting 2210, 2215 early, almost forced to play another shift, right?
Well, last year I've had a really rough couple of years out west, and I actually had a good shift going one year, and I talked myself out of it. I had 1450 for 5 in Regina, and then I told myself, wow, I still need 800. It was the stupidest thing I ever could have. Like, really, it was rolling good, but when you think about it, no one's safe. You have 1500 for 5, you still have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the scary thing, and I think you see a lot of people there with that, like you said, with 1500 through 5, and they're coasting, and then all of a sudden they start thinking about it a little bit, and all of a sudden you punch a couple times, and then it's panic mode instantly, right? It's it's a different beast, that's for sure. And TPC is becoming that way too, right? You have guys panicking in Game 6, Game 7. You see it all the time. It's hard.
I was very sad to miss a TPC this year, but I will be back next year.
We were too. You could have got us to 270.
Probably. 10 shifts. I'm just gonna go on. Next year, I'm just going out to see the West Edmonton Mall, and if I have time, I'll bowl a shift. Maybe, I don't know.
No, honestly, we did miss having you there. You're one of the most absolute animated people. You're super passionate about the game, but you are probably the most entertaining person to watch bowl too.
Yeah. If you would have had a mic on me, you wouldn't have liked what I had to say about your bowling alley, but it's a nice spot.
That's okay.
That's fair, Mike.
A lot.
Yeah. That's fair, Mike. Honestly, I didn't even know that. I forgot you weren't even there until Dexter brought that up. So, joke's on you.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Wow.
No, but in all fairness, though, it's great supporter of the tour. So.
No, it's good. It's good pinball. I just have to fit. I'm just not. I just didn't. Yeah, I made the cut once, I think.
Well, you need to come back now that we made the changes, right? It's synthetic now.
There was nothing wrong with it. It's very. I'm watching everybody else get strikes, and I'm just like, really, it's there. It's just not throwing the right ball, right? It's all about adjusting and quit bitching and actually change my shot and do something.
So what do you guys think the Regina cut's going to be?
So I made a prediction earlier today, and then I second guessed it because I thought the cut was 2200 last year. It turns out it was like 2160, 2165 or something like that. But based on Facebook the last couple of days, there was almost 2 perfect games on Monday alone. And add in an extra 60 entries, I'm going to say 2220. I said 2240 originally. I'm going to say 2220.
Oh, yeah, they had a couple of 9-baggers. They took a picture of the one guy who didn't have 9s in the gun. No, I'm joking. No, it's good for them. They had 2 big games. No, it was good, though. Joel and who else? They both had 9s.
Jeff Hibner.
No, good for them. That's good.
Yeah.
You're saying 22 what?
2220.
I'm going with 2262.
Oh.
Whee.
A lot of bowlers.
Yeah,
it is a lot of bowlers.
That's
a lot of good bowlers, right?
It's also pace of play.
Pace of play.
Yeah, if you know the number, people know it's over 22. You hold the ball a little tighter. It's not hard to get a bad game, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
I'm predicting just under 22. I'm going to go 21-98. And for the simple fact, pace of play is going to be absolutely huge, and the scoring has actually dropped over the last couple of years. So, I think it'll be just under. Even though the numbers are big, it'll still be 30 pins higher than last year with the extra 40 entries or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Well, obviously you don't know. That's why you're guessing.
I'm absolutely terrible with predictions, as you guys know.
Fact.
I pace of play. I thought would be a huge factor at TPC, and the scoring is not as good as Regina. So I think that Adam's theory of 21-98 with better scoring, it should be higher than that. I feel like the guy from Barstool Sports with a pizza right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm thinking 21-11. 21-11.
Sorry, what?
22-11?
22-11. 22-11, and only because I saw lanes 1 and 2 actually scoring properly. Because those two are just dives.
Yeah,
Thanks,
but
Rick
what
Schaefer.
else? What else have you seen all year? Have you seen any
What's
other
the highest
posts
cut
all
ever
year?
recorded?
Yeah.
What?
I don't think Dougie's playing there, so you can't throw any perfect games. So maybe that's part of the reason why we didn't see the scores. But
You're saying that the highest cut, Mike?
Well, the highest cut ever at Regina was 22-30 or 40 that 1 year.
Yeah. It was big.
Was it that high?
No, I think
20 something.
I
22,
think it was even 22-14.
Okay, well, I know that there was a year that
Ask Wolfson. He was one under.
yeah. Well, I think it was
my
actually the year
guess.
Mitch and I met in the final. I think that was the year with the big cut. Because who came in? Was it Brad, he got from Winnipeg. Brad Henderson. He came in third. He had a big set. He lost and he won the consolation.
22-27. Brett Henderson was 32.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right, I'm liking my prediction. Are we putting beers on this one too?
No, we do that on bowlers, not on cut line.
Why?
Cut
Put your
line's
money where your mouth is.
I'll put a beer on the line. I don't care.
Perfect. You're not a pansy.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure you owe us enough by now.
Okay, so what's Adam? Is this Price is Right rules?
No.
Yeah, you
Closest to.
No.
Everybody's gonna go over.
21.99.
I'm probably going to go over, but I'll be close.
I'm guessing 22-15. I don't think it's going to be astronomical just due to pace of play. It's still going to be good, but
there we go.
I still think it'll be sub 22.
yeah, I don't know.
I hope so.
You haven't played much this year.
So if you shoot 22-01, are you sitting?
No.
No.
There's your answer, eh? Right there. Great question, Mike. Got a boy.
But hoping to backdoor it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm in for a beer.
There you go.
There it is.
But I only have four sticks for room for error now because he waited till the end.
Well, that's what good bettors do. I'm no chump.
Yes, you are.
That's fair.
You're a significant chump.
I'll try and 3-shift it for sure if I can get my other shift in.
Mike Lacuse will be 4-shifting if he can.
Yeah, I'll just stay at your house for the week, and when it's in GPC, I'll stay there all week, do a shift on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Just pre-shifting it?
There's an idea, boys.
Yeah.
Like
Well, you know.
pre-bowl your shift.
How many people would blow up over that? Not the same conditions. Yeah, tough luck.
Exactly.
So, what topics do we have going on here, guys?
I just want to hear some good Mike stories for a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So rumor has it you have 2 vehicles. I've heard.
Is that the rumor?
I've heard stories that you have like your normal car, and it's a nice car, and then you have like a shit car that you bring to tournaments so you can beat it up.
Well, no, well, I used to have shit cars because I had an uncle that was a mechanic, so I always had $1,000 car, right? So I never had a nice car. So I didn't give a damn if a couple of times I did try to throw my bowling balls through the trunk and didn't open it. It didn't work that well. Made me feel better. Yeah. Now I have a newer car, so I can't do that anymore. And I'm trying to set a good example and have a good name, you know? Like, I'm just there for fun.
Hey man, you've got to be you. And like I said, you're passionate, you're enthusiastic, and yeah, you are definitely animated.
It actually
you might
sells.
be the only bowler in the history of bowling that might actually have CTE.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't punch ball racks. I don't punch ball racks or anything else.
You definitely don't damage anything.
Like really, I got a dirty look at a Masters tournament. Kind of a weird look. I think they were just shocked because I popped a bowling ball off my head pretty hard, and they stared at me. I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Throw me out for hitting myself in the head with a bowling ball? Like, really? What can you do?"
You know, thankfully, we don't have band-aids for that for TPC, because you wouldn't be able to see out your two eyes.
Yeah.
But you're right. You've always been super respectful.
Yes.
And as a proprietor, we really appreciate that.
Like I have. You guys obviously heard the lighthouse story at Debs. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well, I wasn't even mad. I had a bad night in league, and somebody said, "I bet you can't even hit your bowling ball with your shoe." So I tossed my shoe. I was mad, but I don't care. League, I don't really care. It's league, right? But I threw it up too high in the air, and I hit one of Tom's lighthouses out of the ceiling off with my shoe.
Oh no.
But I went, lucky for me, Tom was doing a renovation, and yeah, it wasn't a big deal. But obviously, people laughed at me for that one for a long time.
Oh man, classic.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, it's.
Didn't you have one story a couple episodes ago, Tim?
I thought I heard a rumor that he threw his bowling ball outside the door once and it hopped on a car or whatever and drove down the street.
Oh, so it's like the telephone game. Everything changes. No, Steve Barker might have said something. I was going to practice for nationals.
Yeah.
And I bowled 4 frames, and I had 4 head pins. I said I'm done, and I walked home, and I had an old crappy house ball, and I just fired it into the field at Nebs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't care. But then I didn't ever thought the guy almost ran over with the lawn tractor. It probably would have cost me yeah. So.
Oh, you left it out there. You just left.
No, I didn't care. I figured leave it there. Some kid was fine. I don't really care. I didn't want it anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'll bring an updated story on Mark Miller. Talk about throwing his bowling balls away. I don't know if you guys know, but Michael Cousier took him out of the garbage, and good old Mike fashion, he sold them. He sold them $125 to one of our former league bowlers. Now he bowls out of Calgary, Trevor DeForest. So Trevor just wanted these bowling balls just because it's a good story. So he's like $125 too much, and then Mark found out about it. He's like, tell you what, I'll give you the third one for free. Yeah. So he gets 3 bowling balls, and apparently Dexter was talking to him, and he's like, well, it's only good for 220s. He's like, perfect, higher than my average. This is perfect. So Mark.
Man.
So now, so Mark. Yeah.
And Mike, didn't Tim duck you one time as a teammate?
I thought I ducked you. It was in 2014 Winnipeg Masters.
Bottom of Academy.
Everybody was looking for a partner. I was ringed out immensely, and I chose not to play. And I was the only option for a partner, and I chose not to bowl with you.
Oh, I was mad because I was watching Christina, right? I already got chirped the whole weekend, and I'm watching her bowl all weekend, and then I couldn't even find a partner to bowl. I bowled 3 games. A lot of people don't know this. I bowled when you guys were bowling. There was extra lanes one day. I shot like a 990 triple. I just threw the ball as hard as I could. I was really pissed off then. I couldn't bowl, right? And at that point, I'd never been to a nationals, right?
Right.
And then of course they're chirping me. They're like, "Oh, Christina made it." I'm like, "Yeah." There's like 7 women. The 2 women that didn't make it are over on the counter over there. And like of course, I don't mean that, but out of anger, I'm sure I made a lot of friends. Then I was almost thinking I it's just frustration, right? I actually and that part of my that's a lot of my frustrations growing up. in Ottawa, and I'm not knocking. I don't take this way at all. I'm not knocking Quebec at all. It's just I bowled over in Quebec all the time, and a lot of wonderful, great bowlers. Not saying that, but the way it works over there is if you make the team Quebec, you go straight to nationals. I'm not saying I would make it every year, but if I would have lived there, I know I would have made it eventually, right? So I had a lot of people I bowl with are going to nationals. I'm carrying a 255 average, and I'm going at that time. Ontario had 24 zones, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not, and you know, it'd be like if I moved to Edmonton. I'm not going to make the team every year, but when I do make that team, I have a very good chance if I'm from Edmonton, Calgary, or Central. I'm assuming usually one of those teams. There is stories of not every year, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But to make the Edmonton team, you got to shoot 5,500 or something this year.
Yeah, I think that's indicative to the house. So both houses are pretty good scoring or decently scoring.
No, but it'd be a solid 5,100 if it was normal conditions, right? Like next team 5,150, 5,200. So
yeah, I just want to go back to that story because I remember when Tim ducked you on that, and I seen you throw your shoes in the garbage.
Well, I bought them just in case somebody from Ontario got injured, you know, and then like, you know, you have tough guys that I forget who was there that year. Somebody had a sore knee, and I'm like, really? I'm sitting here, but whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead and bowl your 170 with a sore knee. It's okay.
Do you know what? I felt mildly upset because I didn't really know you.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really funny when I saw your shoes in the garbage. So.
Oh man.
Don't ever change, Mike. Don't ever change.
No, we love you.
No, it's good.
We do.
One thing we didn't discuss today, but it's a good topic, and it's a good thing to do. I don't know how much you see of it nowadays, but I found years ago you bowl and you'd always one of the elders, like I give the Bernie Menard story. Bernie Menard did not have to take me to Timmins, right? He saw a young guy who wanted to get better and brought him with him. If we all did that once in a while with someone, it goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Bob Bacage did that. He brought like a 16-year-old from YBC to the club tour, you know?
Lenny Anseth is amazing for that too. He's brought so many people over for even our satellite tournaments and stuff like that. The commitment
Blake.
There is, Blake, absolutely, is phenomenal.
Well, Gino did that for me and Mark Johnstone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he would have done that, you would have eventually bowled, but would you have got it's if you're some kid that's 17 has a little bit of talent, that offer the olive branch of, you know, just the drive there is a long way, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, Mike, our local center unfortunately wasn't a part of much of that stuff, so I didn't know anything about 4 steps, didn't know anything about Youth Challenge, so I got into those really late. And if Gino wasn't around there the last couple of years of my YBC, I highly doubt I would have went to the extra tournaments and the Masters and stuff like that. That was all Gino.
Mm-hmm.
And
like if you look, yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. So if we all have to try to do that. It's hard. I'm not going to bring somebody out west, obviously, but if I'm driving to Timmins and there's some guy that wants to go, sure, why not? My car is empty. You know what I mean? That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it goes a long way.
I think that's maybe why Alberta is strong in so many ways. I think most people in the province try to do that. We're pretty open to most things like that, and I think that's why we still have good youth coming up, developing. But I totally agree with you. Honestly, if it wasn't for, we're fortunate we grew up with Stevenson and Tom Stevenson and that. But I mean, Matt helped us out, and Daryl Bradley and a bunch of those other ones kind of pushed us forward. And if we didn't have that, I don't know if we would have known, right? So
the only downside is I offered Tim a ride to a tournament once, and he hasn't stopped getting out of my car since.
Does he pay gas money at least?
Occasionally.
Well, I'm lucky to be still here. KG used to have a separate tournament on the Consolation Day.
Yeah.
I wasn't old enough to drive, and I missed a KG cut by 1. And then I'm in the car. I forget. I believe it was Jeff. I don't know if it was Jeff Warren. There was 4 or 5 people in the car. All I know is I'm in a car with a bunch of pissed off people that all missed a cut by 10. There was a very fast drive over to the other bowling alley. That's depressing because we bowled a different bowling alley, right?
Yeah. It was Eastview, I do believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, to go play the Consolation tournament.
Oh yeah, I got on fire that day. I didn't care, but I got some money back. But it was everything fell that day.
To your point there, Mike, honestly, I think it's almost kind of our duty as kind of the older guard in the game now, right? We all grew up with, those guys, willing to offer the extra, the extra seat in their car or whatever. For me, it was Danny Gombach. We'd go out to every tournament we could, or Rod Wolfson, right? Like those guys were incredible to me. And I definitely think we owe it to the next generation to at least kind of reciprocate some of that. And I know a lot of us definitely do, or at least make sure if those younger players want to play, we'll either find a way financially to help them out a little, or at least get them to that type of a tournament. It goes a long ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see, you have to do the unpopular thing too. Like if you start talking, especially if it's a kid in YBC, like I don't know if you do it here, but in Ontario we have rookie tours for Masters. Like they can play with but it's POA, right? So then you have to talk a kid that's bowling POA and winning, or only playing against kids like they're not playing against the best. So you have to get somebody that's used to winning to now going and playing against the adults and getting crushed. But they have to do that, or they're not going to get better. That's a hard. It's maybe not for the kid, but it's a hard sell on the parents. Like, well, why would I put my kid in so they lose? Well, you can't always win. Sorry, right? But that's how you get better. It's more about the experience, and hopefully they come back, right?
It's the learning curve of it all, right?
Yeah. I was always told that you sometimes have to get your lumps for experience, right? So there was a while that I was getting a lot of lumps, and lately I'm getting a little bit more on the tour, but except I'm not learning as much. But you have to put your money in there to try it, right? There's no way you have to learn otherwise. So you have to play.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And there's lots of events out there. Like, even if it's not the Western Pro Tour, I mean, you guys have other tournaments like that. Green Gold looks like a pretty big tournament in Bonnie Doon. I saw online. Like, the double schools are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we play. We literally play for the double spots.
Not as big as it used to be.
Swoop Air, I could take a swoop flight out if they ever bring me home. I'll come out again.
I
can go to Red Deer for $190 return.
Crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's nuts. So. I still remember the one year I played with Colin Keir. We ended up winning. It was like 1,100 or something like that, but I cleared almost $6,000 with all the double spots for $100 entry. It was awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Unreal. Not to end the podcast yet, but just so people know, this will be the last podcast before Regina. We will be doing a live one, hopefully Thursday afternoonish in Regina. We'll see who's all available around there that want to do one. We'll try and get some guys on there that maybe haven't been on a podcast yet. But it'll be live on Facebook, so you can comment on there if you want us to talk about anything like that. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Any big scores, Timmy? Obviously, we saw Mamshers and Hibners yesterday. I saw Lyle Dolph cut last week. I think he shot 438.
438.
So the old 3-pin.
Yep.
Yeah.
But congrats to him too. He's a phenomenal player for the Sudbury area.
I did get one submitted. I did get one submitted. You were speaking about giving people back and helping people promote things at him. You did this to this guy when he was 40, and it was Chris Islip, but he submitted his sons. He had a high triple of 741 this past weekend, so congratulations to
nice.
GD. No, a lot of near misses for perfect games out there this week. Close. I don't know what the perfect game pot is right now and for the tour, but it could easily be one.
Yeah, it's getting back up there. It's not obviously not close to being capped.
When's the last time it was won?
Dwayne Gilardi.
Yeah.
Last year, Regina, right?
No, Bob Bokic. Well, last year, wasn't it? Or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
No.
It was Dwayne Gilardi.
Dwayne was after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dwayne then, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been the last one to win.
But that was the one that basically emptied the cap.
It was next to nothing, or it was nothing.
Yeah,
Well, with these numbers now, though, it's going to go a little quicker, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For
Like
sure.
I do believe it's over 6 already. It's
So
growing
it'll be
fast.
9. It'll be up to 9 after Regina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we just need that big corporate sponsor to put up that car or something like that, huh?
We don't need a car. We don't need a car, guys.
we got to stop talking about how many times it's been won in the last couple of years, so that we do get that sponsor.
You know what? We actually did a statistics thing for the WCBT board to send to a possible sponsor. It is roughly the same as a hole-in-one. And that's at the professional level. That's not including anybody that doesn't play the tour events. That's just tour events. It's pretty close to the same as a hole-in-one odds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so potential sponsors out there, if you're sponsoring a hole-in-one at a golf tournament, this ain't that far off.
Yeah, and you can
Right,
usually get
right.
insurances for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, right, guys, I think we will wrap this up. Mike, we'll obviously see you in Regina. Good luck at the Timmins this weekend. Hopefully, maybe you can take down that DeGrazia guy before he wins
Grazia
everybody's money.
Open.
Yeah, what is it? 2 years in a row? He's got it.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe,
not sure
maybe
if
not even. He just shot some big scores. I know he won it last
Yeah.
year, but he shoots some really big scores, right?
Yeah, he's always shooting huge there. I know Mitch is sick and tired of it, but everybody's sick and tired of Mitch winning club tour events, so it's about the same.
I like to see Mark Goulet go out west. To be honest, that's one guy I'd like to see play out there.
Yeah,
we would too.
We always hear about him, but
Yeah.
I don't believe the stories.
You don't hear, you know what though? He'll never say it. He's very humble about it. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have to. He doesn't post stuff himself saying, "You look at me," right? He just
No,
bowls
for
good
sure.
and he gets talked about.
Yeah, till Jeff Young and Mitch Davies can produce him, it's just a myth to me.
Wait, what did you say? Produce him?
Produce him.
Mitch and Jeff are going
That's
to
right.
produce. Okay, all right. Just want to say,
Yes,
sounds a
Tim.
little weird. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a great podcast, guys.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thanks for having me, guys.